What's going on, everybody? Alex here from the Football Guys, here to talk about Nathaniel Hackett and the Denver Broncos, the new head coach, who is their fourth Broncos head coach since 2016, which is not very good. But can Hackett be the guy to turn it around? We're just only going to find out. But there are a lot of reasons to like a coach like this. First, the Broncos have yet to finish above 22nd on offense since Peyton Manning retired after the 2015 season, and Hackett's units have finished first in offensive EPA during each of the last two seasons. Matt LaFleur did call the plays, but Nathaniel Hackett does have play calling experience with Jacksonville and Buffalo as an offensive coordinator, noting that with Jacksonville, was the offensive coordinator during the year where Blake Bortles and the Jacksonville Jaguars made it all the way to the AFC Championship game. Just an interesting thing to note. But what does Nathaniel Hackett bring to the table? I mean, we would expect him that on offense to have a collaborative game plan like they did in Green Bay, where it's not just the offensive coordinator and the head coach, but rather getting input from everybody, I think, which is a positive for a game plan. It shows that, the coach it's going to be my way or the highway like an Urban Meyer. It's going to be somewhere where it's collaborative and a lot of people are pitching in. And I think I like coaches like that don't have too big of a head and are willing to include other people. But beyond that, though, you guys are watching this video for the fantasy football perspective. You're not here to know whether he has a collaborative game plan or this or that. And I think that fantasy part of this video starts with Aaron Rodgers potentially playing for the Broncos. And maybe he doesn't. But Aaron Rodgers just last season, before Hackett was really even mentioned in head coaching conversations, just said that I just can't really express enough how important he is to our team in so many ways. He's just so incredible across the board. And I think that's interesting to note with Vegas odds. Besides the Packers, the Broncos are the most likely team that Aaron Rodgers plays for next season. And if he does play for the Broncos, that absolutely immediately upgrades every single player on their team. Because right now they have a QB problem. Drew Lock's not going to get it done. Teddy Bridgewater's not going to get it done. They do have the 9th pick in the draft, but this is a weaker QB class. I don't know if they're going to go necessarily quarterback when they're going to look to get someone like Aaron Rodgers, and they might not be able to, trade for him until after the draft, but we will see. But what they do have with Nathaniel Hackett is great weapons for whatever QB they do have next season. They have Javonte Williams, and maybe they bring Melvin Gordon back, which is awesome in the running back room. They have a solid offensive line. And with their weapons, they have a lot of young receiving weapons that are only going to get better. I think Cortland Sutton is the oldest at 26. And then they have Jerry Jeudy, Noah Fant, Albert O, all young guys that are only going to get better, which is very intriguing from a fantasy perspective, especially when the last few years, all these players have been playing with a defensive-minded head coach in Vic Fangio. And now they have a guy that has led the team that was first in offensive EPA the last 2 years. And it's not like they had like a Buccaneers type offense where every single weapon across the board was absolutely loaded. I mean, it's really just a 3-man show between Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, and Aaron Jones. I know A.J. Dillon this past year broke out, but even before that, they were just as good, with Dillon still working away. And what I mean by that and making that point is that Nathaniel Hackett helps lead a team that didn't have a lot of great weapons to very, very good offenses, and I expect that he is going to be an upgrade over Vic Fangio significantly on the offensive side of the ball, which is very intriguing from a fantasy football perspective. When they have a lot of guys in this team, they're going to be very interesting to own. Even if the Broncos, run back with Drew Lock or Teddy Bridgewater, and they don't really, inspire you to say that these guys are going to be huge breakout options, I still think that they have a lot of really intriguing weapons. And I think Nathaniel Hackett is going to improve this team from an offensive perspective. It's going to make it more interesting from a fantasy football perspective. And it's going to be interesting to have what this happens this season with this Broncos team, and if a first-time 42-year-old head coach, which is pretty young, can get it done, only time will tell. But please subscribe and turn the bell notifications on for the Football Guys. We have new great content coming out each and every